say to each other?
No, that's the best part about it. Again, like knowing each other for close to 15 years now, and like having honest conversations the whole time. We just continue to have honest conversations and understanding who each other are to our core. You know what I mean? Like there's no fluff, there's no games needed to be played. It's just open, honest conversations, and both knowing what we want and that we're on the same page at that. It makes it easy.
How does he help you if he does bring this young team? How is your relationship growing as you guys kind of bring this team along together?
I think he can be a reflection when I'm not around. He understands the higher purpose that we're aiming for, and when he's in the locker room or when he's on the floor, he has the ability to relay that because he knows exactly what we're trying to do and exactly what we're looking for. So it's just like, you need that in the locker room. The young guys need to be able to have someone they can depend on and they can count on to be there and keep that message, through good times, bad times, whatever it may be. Like they know they have him to depend on.
That word sacrifice has come up a lot with him in his role. It came up the other day when talking with Karis, and I'm just curious if you've encouraged those two to specifically talk about that and how Karis can best utilize that role too.
Yeah, these are conversations that we try to foster every day and not have something to be a moment that we need to discuss. We empower our guys to take on their own form of leadership, and they've done that. So those conversations, a lot of times can be words, but a lot of times it's actions and watching and following through that.
How is Kevin doing? We saw him next at the end of the day. Is he doing good?
He's doing good.
We saw Dylan do his work before.
It's slow.
Okay.
But he's taking steps.
Did Kevin practice today?
No, today was a treatment day for Kevin.
Treatment day? Yeah. Got it. And when it comes to Kevin, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. There have been times in the past where he's had moments, in his own words, of childish behavior, but we haven't seen those recently from him. What have you seen from him in the growth in that area and the steps forward that he has taken, and how have you guys benefited from that?
He spends a lot of time working on himself. He is very honest with who he is. Like you've heard him, like you're mentioning, have those conversations publicly. And a lot of times as adults, we mask who we really are, and it's not our fault or our problem. I think Kevin is one of those people who looks inside of himself and tries to figure out how he can continue to get better as a basketball player, as a person, as a friend, now as a husband, like all those things, because it's important to him and growth is important to him. So I think that's something that he's taken to heart, and he understands how important he is to his teammates, and he understands, what he represents to his teammates. They look up to him, they're going to follow him. So, he wants to be better for them and for this team.
And then I know you said recently that Ricky was going to have a meeting with the doctors. How did that go, if it happened already?
It went well. He's back. He's going to start doing more 5-on-5, those types of things. He's been given the green light to do that. And, now it's the progression that he has to go through to get ready to play in an NBA game. And again, it's something that we won't rush, but he's headed in the right direction.
What does that progression look like after 5-on-5, JB?
That's the one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the conditioning in 5-on-5. It's being able to be bumped in 5-on-5 and then be able to react without hesitation. It's the transitions of defensive slides to running up the floor, like all of those things that we don't do in everyday life that are basketball necessary. He's got to get to a place where he's comfortable with that. So again, it's too important, and he's too important to rush it. But again, like I said, he's taking steps in the right direction.
I know you're a coach who's so in the moment all the time, but have you allowed yourself to start envisioning where Ricky fits, how you're going to play him with certain lineups, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you always want to have a plan. You know what I mean? And we know what Ricky did for us, last year. We also understand the time that it takes, to get reacclimated with the group, and then, what the minutes look like and how those have to continue to grow. But you think about it, but it's a long way away, and we'll do all that we can to help him, but we're planning for it for sure.
How realistic is it to expect him to be the same kind of impactful player that he was for you guys at the beginning of last season?
I think in his moments he can be. What our priority and our goal is to protect him. So realistically, do I see him at 30 minutes or 35 minutes like he would get to last year? No. But I do believe, like, in his minutes and in his role, he can be extremely impactful.
JB, Donovan and Darius have played 18 games together now. How have you seen those two in that stretch grow more comfortable and really just grow together as a team?
I think they're playing, just more aggressive basketball. I think early on they wanted to help each other and wanted to play together so much that, they were a little bit, too passive or too unselfish is probably a better word. But I think they've realized that the more aggressive they are, just to make the right basketball play, that's going to help the other one. I think it's been great the entire year that it has never felt like a your turn, my turn type of thing. And I think that was, what we were trying to avoid, and I think they both bought into that. But I think they're now more comfortable being their aggressive selves, and that's helping each other out as well.
Do you think that they're ahead of schedule with where you thought they would be at this point in the season?
It's hard, and I know we like to quantify things, but you don't know, and anybody who does tell you they know is lying to you. You don't know how chemistry is going to happen. You don't know how many games it's going to take, how many practices it's going to take. What you know is it takes shared experiences. They've had more shared experiences, and still, to be honest with you, this group hasn't had enough shared experiences to tell you that this is as good as it's going to be, or that pairing is going to be as good as it's going to be. You think about the injuries that they've sustained, the injuries that Jared's had. This group is still working to get to our final product.
How frustrating is it for you as a coach that there have been so many guys in and out of lineup due to injuries that you haven't had that sustained time together?
It's the NBA, you know what I mean? And if you put your frustrations and things you can't control, you'll be a madman. And so I try to just take what's in front of me and deal with it. Enjoy the guys that we have at that moment, help that group, and then we move on.
You mean more so than you already are?
You think I'm a madman?
Maybe just a little bit. What's your relationship?
You have to be a madman to be a coach in the NBA. I'll tell you that.
What's your relationship with Mike Brown these days?
He's a big brother, a mentor, a friend. Somebody I admire. Somebody I look up to. He's one of the, handful of guys in this league who, when he says something, he means it and he's going to do it. And there's always follow through. I've known him. He worked for my dad. I think I was 13 years old when he started working for my dad. I used to bust his ass in one-on-one. He'll lie and tell you it was the opposite. But, it's what's that, big brother, friend, I don't know what else you want to call it, but he's that.
What's it like to see him having success again as a head coach?
I'm happy for him. He is, there's no more deserving person than Mike, and, watching him, enjoy it now. I think before, you would watch him and, it didn't look like he was having fun. And I'm watching him now on the sidelines, and he looks like he's having a blast, so I'm happy for him.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.